then they find that people are coming from outside of Korea to play these online games. But the worst part is the ID card numbers of almost all the game players in Korea are stolen. So they are figuring out how to close this gap, this loophole, in contacting different internet community people around the world, especially where places where a lot of people probably hack into Korean game sites from, say, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or around Asia, China, and so on, to try to figure out how to handle this problem. Finally, from the information security point of view, we're also seeing that there are a lot of, in Hong Kong, a lot of problems with SMEs and zombies. And again, Korea like to try new laws, and they are trying right now to enforce that companies must make sure that their networks are clean without zombies. That means their computer networks and the servers are not going to be hijacked by others without their knowing and used as a relay to attack other networks or send spams and so on. This is a very big problem for SMEs in Hong Kong. But in Korea, they're trying to set up a law to say that any company found to be, their network is being attacked, well, they themselves has to be liable. They have to be responsible. So that is probably a direction of legal development in the coming years. And finally, another big major problematic area in the coming years will be mobile security, because all of us have, just like the cowboys, you reach out and you pull out 2 guns, but no, you pull out 2 mobiles, and then your iPad 2 from the back. So, the mobile security is actually going to become a big issue coming on. Of course, I won't have probably too much time to go on to the details, but what if the information security problems come from our own government? In our case, because China has the biggest firewall of the world, maybe the most successful. So they are actually making the firewall from 1.0 to 2.0 to welcome in the Web 2.0 world. So the surveillance is not going to be just at the server and the gateway level. They're moving it down to the PC level, trying to do that. Continuously, they are destabilizing all these overseas services like Gmail and so on. Obviously, actually, they are not just censoring within China, but they are going outside of their own firewall to watch what other people are saying about them on Twitter, outside of the firewall. So this has become a big industry, a big bureaucracy of hundreds of thousands of people potentially secretly doing this in China. So is this also a trend for more governments to follow? And what does that have to do with the implication of internet for all and internet for and a free internet for all of us? That is the question that I think I will leave with you. Actually, you probably cannot see, but there are a couple of links here for other resources. So with that, I close my presentation and turn the time over back to our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
Colombo. So my question is, now when you're dealing with a company or a client with the user, then of course the agreements do apply. But when you're dealing with the issue of data mining companies, which mine data for governments or corporate enterprises, how do you deal with that? That's one thing at a national level. The second question is, what are the new security things that have been thrown up by HTML5 becoming the upcoming standard, which is having more location-based web services?
I didn't quite get your second question, other than you mentioned about location-based, and what was the second question?
The second question is about HTML5, Web 3.0, where there's more location-based services rather than the Web 2.0, which was not that location-based. It was more social integration, but you couldn't track people. But now HTML5, Wi-Fi routers, modems, everything is going to be tracked back to the... So what does that throw up as a security issue?
Well, I think these are very broad questions and very important questions, actually. Well, thank you. Please sit down. Thank you. The first question you had about data mining, and the second question about location-based, I think, in fact, I consider them in a broad way, the same kind of problems that we face today because of the advancement in technology and the usage by people and provision of services by companies is so much faster than any regulator can follow. And of course, like I finally mentioned, sometimes the regulator may be here to help us. Sometimes they may have their own agenda. So it's a very complicated issue. Really depends on where you are. If I am a user, how do I protect myself? Because when I use some of these services, especially social networks and location-based networks, Facebook Places or Foursquare and so on, do I really want to share this information with everyone? The tricky thing is that when we use social media, sometimes we think that we are only sharing it with friends. But in fact, if you read the Facebook and other services, if you read the terms and conditions, you are actually sharing a lot more and giving up the control of your data a lot more than you thought. So, and it's not a problem. If I still say, I don't care, I'm in Colombo today, it's not a secret, I'm happy to let people know about it, that I'm in the Hilton, because I'm not an important person, okay? If I am someone very important, very rich maybe, then I don't want people to know where I am. It really is a personal choice, but I think in the end, and I believe it is in the Internet Society's purpose and our objective, is to make sure that users are given a fair deal, because they should be entitled to know what they are signing up for, and they should be educated to make the right choices. And at the same time, making sure that for things that you mentioned, like data mining and so on, are there going to be limitations on what companies can do to mine data about people without that person knowing, right? Because in some of the data protection principles that I mentioned, the purpose is very important. When you collect my data, I need to know why you are collecting these data. If you are collecting these data and using them in a way that I did not consent to, then that should be a problem. But a lot of times, users really don't even know what other people are doing with their data, and I think that is the basic problem. But unfortunately, because of the rapid development in technology and because of the legal protection is very different from one place to another, and usually they are not mature. This is going to be continued. This will be a problem for a long time to come. So I think still educating the user is the most important thing, so that they at least can make as right a choice as possible.
Thank you, Charles. I think he answered 2 questions, so if you have any more, you can catch him shortly, I think, at tea. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you.